There we go. Just accept that recording. We are excited to host another Q&A of Love What You Do Again. The gift of Love What You Do Again is the opportunity to help leaders own their leadership, defeat destructive mindset, and purposely align with what they say, do, and think so that they truly love what they do again. And today we have a special guest, Miss Sandra Martini with the Martini Way. And she has so much expertise and experience and has probably one of the biggest retention numbers I've ever heard of before. And so if you have some questions about that, save that, put it in chat, or we'll ask it as we move along. So Ms. Sandra, and did I make you able to share screen, or do you want to share screen?
I would like to share screen, please. And you did make it so I can.
Awesome. Go right ahead. When you're ready, we are excited. And let me give you a couple last things about Miss Sandra. I met Miss Sandra through Predictive ROI, a vendor that we get to work with, and friends and community that we got connected on. We've got to listen and hear each other's questions, and then we finally got to connect. And Miss Sandra has lots of eye-opening wisdom. She's quick. She's got a lot of data as well. And so it'll be powerful to see what everyone takes away and what questions come up. Sandra, it's all yours.
Okay, so let's get rid of this here. So Coach April asked me today to talk about, and I'm just going to keep this up as a slide thing this way. It's just easier for me with multiple screens. I'm currently traveling, so I don't have all my normal stuff, and I'm kind of like making it work as you do when you travel. So Coach April asked me to talk about growing your business without stress or drama. And the way I look at everything, whether it's just growing the business, scaling the business, starting the business, is I am a huge fan of reverse engineering. So for me, I want to start with the end in mind. That to me, it's how I do things the best, I guess would be to say it. So while we're going to be talking about growing the business without stress, drama, et cetera here, know that everything, the reason, the way it's written the way it is because I'm looking at it from a long-term retention. Some really simple statistics is that every 5% increase in customer retention increases your profits by 25 to 95%. Just a 5% retention rate. And it costs between 7 and 9 times more to get a new client than to keep an existing client. Okay, so when I'm talking about all of this stuff, think about your business and think about, okay, is what I'm doing here and how I'm growing it, is this building for retention or not? And even in real estate, when you make a sale, they go away, you want to be the person they come back to the next time they're ready to do a buy or a sell, or the person that they're referring to. So even though you might think, okay, that customer is gone, that client's done, nothing is one and done. There's always referrals. There's other ways to get the word out. So think about retention from the big, broad standpoint. All right, so what do these guys have in common? Showing up, vacations, holidays, benefits, unemployment. Anyone want to jump in with what these all have in common?
Aren't they retention tactics?
These are all, no, although yes, they could be, except for the showing up. These are all things that employees get paid for. They get paid just for showing up. All depending on the business, they get all of these lovely retention benefits down here. Us, however, as entrepreneurs, we are paid for results. Nobody pays us to show up at our desk, hang out on Zooms all day, and then go hang out with our family. If we don't get results, there's no money. And here's some really sobering statistics. About 95% of new businesses fail within the first 3 years. Of the ones that survive, half of them are gone in 5 years. Okay, now I think pretty much everybody here has passed that point. And so here's the last one. 83% of coach entrepreneur type businesses never break the $100,000 mark, ever. So you could be in business for 10 years and yeah, that's a fantastic achievement, but you've never made 6 figures. Certainly never close to 7. These are the sobering statistics. And the reason for most of this is because as a solopreneur, as an entrepreneur, everything is on our plate. We are creating the assessment. We are writing the copy. We are attracting new customers. We are emptying the trash bin. We are doing pretty much soup to nuts, A to Z in the business. And when you're sitting there and you're going, okay, I walk in the business today, it's Monday, what do I do? What first is on my plate today? And what we end up doing is we end up running our business by crisis. Oh, I need cash. All right, I'll work with that client, even though I know they're not an ideal fit, but they have a credit card that works. And I need cash right now, so I'll work with them. Or let me work up a quick product. Let me do something that is short-term cash flow, but also stressful. What if we didn't have to do that? The problem is most of us do, because we're focused on solving the crisis, putting out the fire of the moment. We don't have the ability to do that long-term view. And if we do have the ability from a cash perspective, we don't always have the patience because we're entrepreneurs and we just want to go, 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 go. You know, we just want to get stuff done. And what ends up happening is the average entrepreneur creates this beautiful castle in the clouds. There is no foundation. And I can tell you, years ago, I went from doing my thing, having a great business, to 2 days notice that I was going to be out of work for 6 weeks because I needed spinal surgery and I wouldn't be able to speak when they went in through my throat. So all of a sudden, I make money by talking. All of a sudden, I can't talk for 6 weeks. And my business was fine because I had set up this long-term view. It took me longer to do it, this long-term of recurring revenue streams. So I still had money coming in, even though all I could do was write on a notepad. But the average entrepreneur doesn't. So we want to make sure that we set things up, no stress, no drama, with foundations. So the first question is for you, what is happening? What's going on in your business? When you think about coming in today, do you think, okay, today I'm working on A, B, C, or D, knowing that we are responsible for all of it? How do you prioritize? Well, the average business owner does this. They give time to their marketing, time for fulfillment, time to develop that new thing that they're going to offer, whether it's a new program, it's a new retention, whatever it happens to be. And then there's admin. You know, there's the bookkeeping, there's all that pesky little admin stuff that has to be done. You know, sending the client a birthday card, hopefully. But there's all of this in here. And what happens is that we tend to do all of this ourselves. You know, or you might have a team, you might have an assistant or two, but we're still giving all this attention to all of this. And all that's going to lead to is more of this, more of that. You just keep doing whatever needs the attention the most right now. What if you were to look at it and say, how do I design this so the business actually works for me? You know, instead of me giving, and the business taking. And maybe we get a paycheck. How do you do it so that it works for you? Well, the first place to start is to know what your personal ultimate goal and vision is for your business. Now, it could be you want to make an impact. It could be that you want to sell it and have a big payday in the future. It could be that you want your children to take over. Maybe you want to fund your retirement. You want to fund their college. Maybe you just want to pay off your mortgage. It doesn't really matter what the reason is, as long as the reason is important to you. That's all that matters. It doesn't matter what Coach April thinks. It doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Whatever that thing is, you need to know what it is, because that's what's going to pull you forward to do these things that are not exactly the most exciting things in the world when you're setting up the foundation of a business, but they will allow you to reach whatever your ultimate goal is. And the first thing we do is we pick our goal and we reverse engineer it. Now, when we're looking at the reverse engineering, you have to know where you are today. So if I was to ask each of you, where are you? Are you in level 1, where you're setting the foundation and getting clients? Are you in level 2, where you're adding leverage? Are you in level 3, where you're focused on increasing profits? And here's how to know. Do you have enough clients right now to meet all of the expenses and to take the paycheck that you should be taking from your business? If the answer to that is a no, then you're in level 1. If for any reason, if your conversion numbers need tweaking, if you're talking to 100 people to get 5 clients, you're in level 1. Or do you have so many clients knocking down your door that you have a wait list right now? If you currently have a wait list, you need to add leverage. You've got to do something to get more leverage into your business because you can't serve all of them the way you're going right now, as evidenced by your wait list. So how do you add leverage? How do you stop being the person that's doing all of the work to serve your clients? And we're not talking back end here, we're talking adding leverage. Group programs, for example, membership, subscription programs, those can do it. And then level 3, you've got the foundation, you've got processes in place, you've got people helping you, you're paying the bills without sweating, no stress, no drama. You've got some leverage so that when you want to take a vacation, you could actually leave your laptop at home and not stress about what's happening to the business. Now the focus is all on optimizing and tweaking. It's all about how do you increase those profits. So the first thing is to know which level you're at. Many people who first come to me, they're in trying to get sales. They're still increasing their foundation. And what happens is either lifestyle congruence, and what this means is, can the business pay for your lifestyle? Okay, whatever its contribution is. If you have a partner, maybe it's 50%. If you like, I'm on my own. My business has to pay for every single thing that I want or need. So can my business do that? If it can, great. Next, am I attracting the right people? Are the people that are coming to me qualified leads, or are they people that would never make a great client for me at all? Okay, let's assume they're qualified. Am I doing a good job converting them into paying customers? Do I have systems and processes? Remember the leverage. Do I have systems and processes that help qualify and convert? Next, can I get it all done? Whatever it is I'm committing to, am I actually delivering on my commitments? And are my clients delivering on their commitments? Are they showing up to do the work? Are they paying their bills? So if you're in level 1, you need to make sure that all 5 of these are working before you can move on to level 2. And this includes, are your processes in place? Do you have a marketing process where you reach out to prospects to nurture them? Do you have a retention process in place where once you get a client, and this is what I see more often than I can count, quite frankly. We put so much effort into getting the clients that we got them, yay, and then we move on to getting the next client and often forget about poor Susie over here who just signed on with us because we're so busy trying to get the next client. But what about retaining? Do you have a system in place for retaining those clients? And what typically needs to happen, okay, so a lot of businesses are doing this. They're spending all this time focused on marketing, fulfillment, admin, and development. But what they should be doing is this. They should be more focused on, if they're in level 1. If you're not in level 1, it looks different. If you're in level 1, though, you want to be getting the word out, however you do that, and developing ways to be doing that going forward. Fulfillment, As you get clients, this fulfillment is going to broaden up until it reaches a tipping point where you've got to move and focus on leverage. And very little time should be spent on admin because nobody's paying you to do your admin. Does that make sense? And when we do these things, we end up with this. Okay, so we've gone from that castle in the cloud, no foundation, to this thing that's going to survive a nuclear war. You know, it can handle a pandemic. It can handle a recession. It can handle, you know, unexpected caregiving. It can handle unexpected illness. One of the things I didn't share at the beginning was, of the last 17 plus business years, 8 of them I was a full-time caregiver, in addition to running the business full-time for 3 different people, all who passed from cancer. And during that entire time, my business revenue never dipped. And the day that my dad passed, the business closed 3 new clients without my involvement at all. I was not in the office. I was not paying attention, didn't even know about it for 3 days, because we had built in systems and foundations and leverage. So this is the ultimate goal, because life happens. We don't know what it's going to be, but you know, it will be something. So life happens. So how are you setting the business up to ensure that when it does happen, this piece of it isn't stressing you out? Because this piece of it is handled. So focusing now on setting all this mundane, in a way, some of this stuff, quite frankly, it's mundane until you need it. And then once you need it, there is nothing sexier than a business that is running itself while you're dealing with whatever life is throwing at you. And that's how we get to the no stress, no drama, or reduced stress, I should say. The stress doesn't come from the business because you've put the time and effort in to make it what you need it to be. Does that make sense? Does anyone have any questions on any of that? And one thing, I'm just going to put this in the chat for you. I wrote an ebook called Overcome Overwhelm that goes into detail about each of those levels and the activities that you could be doing to know if you're in level 1 or 2 or 3. It's like, well, I'm in level 2, but what do I do? So I've written an ebook that breaks out those 3 levels. And that tells you, okay, if you're on level 2, you should be looking at this. If you're on level 3, you should be looking at this. And it's a free download on my site. So that's the link that you can go get that if you want it.
And Sandra, you did a podcast with us before I opened it up to questions, and it may take a minute for the individuals to decide who's going to be brave first. Yet everyone in this room are powerful and brave. So I'm not worried about their having a thought or question of anything. Share a couple of numbers you shared on the podcast as in regards to your retention numbers for your business, and then we'll open it up to questions.
Following what I just talked about creating those foundations and going through the levels, my membership program has been in place since February of 2010. And of that, since then, our average client length of membership, if you will, is 7.8 years. So for 7.8 years, every month, the members of that program are automatically depositing money into my business. And we, of course, are serving them. And it's that retention, it's that focus on retention that has them say, you know, they're sitting there at the end of the year going through their P&L and deciding what they should cut. During the pandemic, we close to doubled in size for that membership program. It wasn't, no one wanted to cut it because of the value they were getting, and they knew they were valued, and they knew that they would get results staying in the program. So I share that the average membership or subscription program, people leave between 3 and 4 months. So 3 and 4 months to 7.8 years. And that 7.8 years is just following this. It's just so not exciting when you say it. but it's following the system of saying, okay, I know that my goal is for this business to fund my retirement. And I know that I want some passive revenue coming out of it when I'm in retirement. Okay, so knowing that, what do I need to do? And then what do I need to do before that and before that and before that? And the very first thing, of course, was to get a steady stream of paying clients.
Mhm.
And those paying clients that are coming into the business, for them to stay with me, they have to see results. Because they're not going to stay with my business if they're not getting results. So how do I help those clients get what they need? And how do I do it in a way that's leveraged
Mhm.
so that it's not, 24/7? If you do what you do and you're the only person that does it, your income level is capped because there's only so much time you can work.
Right.
So my goal is always to say, okay, how do we set the business up so that even on your worst day, for me, when my dad passed, even on my worst day, my business could sign clients. And those clients had no idea that that was the worst day of my life.
Mhm.
They had no idea because we had the processes in place and I didn't even know they existed.
Mhm.
I was with my mom. I had no idea that those people were coming into the business. How do you set up systems and processes so that you can have the best day of your life? You can be on vacation in Hawaii, soaking up the sun, and your business can still be generating revenue for you. So how do you do that? And that's what we're all about. And then once you've got all of that figured, ensuring that the client experience, that they stay, if that's the type of business you have, and if it's not, that they refer you.
Mhm.
Because that is the best gift that any business owner could get.
I agree. Who's brave? Go Jamie. Proud of you.
Well, Sandra, that was very helpful, especially to me. I'm currently at a level 1 right now as I'm rebuilding my business, I guess. So I have my own real estate brokerage in Knoxville, but I came from Florida and was very successful there, felt everything was good to go until I had a medical issue that shut everything down. So I was out of work in a sense for about 2 years before I could even get back to really working. And so what other revenue streams, like I am so busy myself right now, I don't know where to look for other revenue streams that can help me as I'm building those clients.
Well, tell me, what do you do for your clients?
So for my current clients now, right now, I'm still in the process of finding clients, but
Okay.
I do have my old database from Florida. So I've been reaching out to those. I use things like Constant Contact,
Mhm.
send out cards, any kind of follow up like that. I've checked in with previous clients, but trying to transition Florida people to Tennessee people has been difficult.
Yes.
So those
So
help me get through.
could you create a program where that basically they just go to a website and they purchase it? And the program would be how to get your house ready to sell. Steps that you would go through. What would it cost to sell your house in the Knoxville market?
Mhm.
What people are looking for. Think about who your clients are
Okay.
and the ones that they don't want to hire you, they don't want to pay the real estate commission. Okay, that's easy. I can do it myself. There's that segment that's out there.
Right.
So for that segment that says, I can figure it out myself, you can sell them the tools to assist them. And then through the tools, make it very clear. Hey, I've given you everything here that you need. And sometimes what you really need is an expert. Call me, we'll discuss whether that would be a good fit for your situation. But what you can do is you can create these downloadable programs, easy. Constant Contact is capable of delivering them via email, where you tell them, here's A to Z, what you need to be thinking of, what you need to be considering. You can do one specifically for how to get your house ready to sell. You can do another one for how to not get ripped off when buying your next home. think about the biggest challenges that your Florida clients have had, and how can you turn that into content, knowledgeable content for people who want to be do-it-yourselfers. And if they read this, and you're not trying to make it easy, you're trying to inform them. Now, when they're reading this and they're like, whoa, I really didn't think about A, B, and C that Jamie has spelled out here. Maybe I should call her for a consult. And you make that easy, but you can sell those products to the people who think they want to go it on their own.
Well, and that's a great idea. That's something I've never even thought about. I have a lot of those materials already that I do in exchange for an email or contact, but to sell them or, that's fabulous. Thank you.
If you give them templates, just fill in the blank templates, and it's funny. A neighbor recently was putting his second house on the market where I live. And one of the questions he was asked was, what was the square footage of something, a kitchen or a bedroom or something? And he couldn't figure it out. He's like, I don't really know how to do that. And he's not a computer guy in the sense that he's not going to go Google searching everything. So, I mean, think about it from that level. Okay, what do these people need to know? Well, you need to take the square footage of this. Well, how do I do that? Or Coach April and I actually were on another call last week with a CPA, and the CPA was sharing all of these ways that you can do deductions for your home from a business perspective. So something called the Augusta rule, where you could basically your business could pay you rent for using not the home office deduction, but for using it as meeting space. So if you're looking at, let's say you're talking to someone or you want to include in your content, hey, do you have a home business? In addition to the home office deduction, there are all of these other ways that your home can help, that your business can help with the home. And so consider this, consider that. And what you can end up with is someone who's going to buy a 3-bedroom now buys a 5-bedroom. But think about all these different ways. And you want to be talking about the things that not everybody else is. Because if everybody else is, then I don't really need you.
Right.
Because there's 10 other people doing the same thing.
Right.
But you can definitely leverage your content. And the easier you make it, the more you can sell it for.
Okay.
So when I say like templates, fill in the blanks, think about, you're giving this to a 10-year-old to do it. Make it that easy.
Wonderful. Thank you. That was very, very helpful.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Who's next? And Sandra's accurate, and you made me think of having Craig come join us as a special guest, but he reminded us that you can actually count your gym if you allow everybody as your team to have access to it. And one of them, the gentleman that was in that group, he actually had a hot tub that he is now opened up to everybody as part of their gym. Anyways.
Peloton.
Right? Who's
Yeah.
next? Open. This is Q&A. You get to ask all the questions.
So, if I may, as a listing agent, I primarily work with people that are selling their homes and are leaving the state of California. And so retention, how does retention work with people that are actually leaving? Other than I'm getting referrals from them on the backside for people that also are thinking about leaving. But when you're talking about retention, I don't see how.
Yes, you're not going to retain them because they're leaving your area.
Right. Okay.
So you are going to be completely referral focused. So for every sale that goes through, you can give them 5 postcards to send to people they know in California that might be considering leaving. I know that California right now is seeing a huge exodus of people.
Mm-hmm.
So there's actually a big group that you can go to, and you can be known as the person. let me ask you this question. When they're leaving, are they going all over the place, any place specific?
Montana, Idaho, Tennessee.
Okay. It's funny, I just read an article about the huge exodus from California to Montana.
Mhm.
So you can be known as the person that specializes in people leaving California and going to these 3 states. So you can have made up, you can find someone else who has done it. What do you need to know before moving to Montana? So for
Ah.
example, when I moved from Massachusetts to South Carolina, what I didn't know was that I had 90 days to get a South Carolina license, or I was in violation. Silly, funky thing. Day 89, I got it. Because that's when I learned about it.
Mhm.
So you can be known as the expert for, we're sorry that you live in California, and we want to make your transition to Montana, Tennessee as easy as possible. So lots of our clients have done that, have done this move. And if you know anyone else who's looking to leave the state, please let them know. We'd be happy to help them. I would be going all in, doubling down on giving them such a fantastic experience that they are raving about you on their social media. And that they're referring others, because with social media, they're reaching so many more people. The other thing I would be doing is I would be doing some social media ads, and I'm thinking particularly Facebook here, for the areas. So let's say that you just sold a house in Oakland for someone who wants to go to Montana. I would be doing an ad that's Oakland specific and saying, hey, we just sold this property for, this wonderful family of 5 that was moving out of state. And in fact, we specialize in out of state moves, in selling your house to move out of state. We make that as easy as we can for you. That's what I'd be doing.
And Sandra, would you speak a minute, and then I'm going to open it up and see if any of the coaches have any questions in regards to any other levels, and then anyone else that wants to ask a question is it valuable for them also to build some type of referral incentive for other agents and start building some mindset? I know that's one of the things I was contemplating doing, is having some agent communities and business communities where they can build some referral networks.
Oh, absolutely. And those are fantastic when they work well. So the 2 big things you have to be aware of there is, one, what is their mindset? So if their mindset is one of scarcity and lack, then they're not going to be contributing. They're going to go to this community to get, because that's just the mindset that they're in. And then the other is, if you can be seen as a leader in this area, in this industry, then it can be, okay, well, I don't specialize in this, but Stephen does. And then you would have to reciprocate. Well, I don't specialize in, within California moves, but Coach April does. So you could definitely do something like that. I haven't had great luck setting those up or being part of them. The groups I've been in, many of the people are so scarcity focused that they just go to see what they can get, as opposed to what they can also give and how they can benefit that way.
Thank you for that.
Stephen, I would make yourself known as, the company that helped, sounds funny to say it, but the company that helps you leave California, the company that helps you with the next, you were in California, you loved it, and now it's time for you to move on. And we help you do that. We make that easy for you.
Interesting. Thank you. As I catch the word. But anyways, who's next?
I'll go.
Awesome, Debbie.
Hey, Debbie.
Hi, Sandra. Thank you very much. Reverse engineering, if you could expand on that more. What I'm needing clarification is to look first at the vision and then back it up to what. If you
Okay.
Okay.
Are you familiar with NLP?
Mhm.
Okay, so for anyone who doesn't know, NLP is neuro-linguistic programming. And there's this fantastic exercise around it. When I do it, I go outside because my rooms are never big enough. So I go outside. So go outside and have somebody next to you. And you're just standing there and look at a certain spot in front of you, a distance away, 50 feet, 75 feet, whatever is appropriate. Look out there and picture in your head. So let me ask you, what is your ultimate vision for your business, Debbie?
To support and help people with the knowledge that I've attained over the last 30 years. I want to be able to take days to deliver the information versus decades of all the books and workshops and everything, deliver to them much easier.
Okay, so you want to make an impact on your clients, on their
Of
lives.
course. Yeah.
Okay, so give me more. Give me more from your business perspective. What do you want the business to do for you?
The business for me is to keep growing and give it profitable so I can buy a summer home.
Okay, buy a summer home.
Mhm.
That's what we're looking for.
Okay.
Okay. And it could be legacy, it could be create passive income, it could be anything. Okay, so you want to buy a summer home. So you're standing in that spot outside and you're looking 50, 75 feet in front of you. And right there is the moment that you just signed the paperwork on your summer home. It's yours. You're ready to just go and start decorating it all. So you're looking at that. You're getting it focused in your head. That's the day I signed the paperwork on my summer home. Feel that, really, you know NLP, so really feel that in your body. Can you feel excitement around that?
Certainty, yep. Mhm.
You know, it's there, it's yours, you're excited. The next step is to pick what furniture is going to be in the summer home.
Mhm.
Okay, so you've got that feeling. Now, very quickly, walk from where you're standing to that exact spot that you were staring at. Picture it almost like a little bullseye sitting out there on the grass. You walk straight to that spot very quickly, hold that energy with you. When you get there, I've just signed the paperwork for my new summer house. Okay, and your little helper is beside you with a notebook. Okay, now the next thing you do, close your eyes, and what happened just before that? And you take one step back. Okay, so what happened just before then? You wrote a check. You wrote a check for, I don't know, how much is your summer home?
600,000.
Okay, you just wrote a check for $600,000. One step back, what happened before you wrote that check? Well, you had $600,000 in the bank that you could write a check for and still meet all your other living expenses and everything else that goes on in your world. Okay, so how did you make that $600,000? This I'll call extra 600,000 above and beyond your living. Okay, so think about that. Well, what did I do to make that money? Did you host an event? Did you host a retreat? Did you get a group of 15 women together? What did you do? Think about the ways that you would want to earn that 600,000. So let's pretend that you do, I have to grab my calculator.
No, I understand. I thank you. I want to get clarification on the reverse engineering.
Oh, that's it. So
Yeah.
and then you take one step back and you say, and what did I do before that? And as you're saying what you did, your helper is writing it down.
Got it.
And so do it in as much or as little detail as you want. Like when I first did this exercise, I wanted to fill an event. I held an event in Rhode Island and I wanted to fill it, and filling it was 20 seats.
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay, I want to fill it with 20 seats. I'd never held an event on my own at that time. And I wanted the event to net me $100,000. So I said, okay, let me do this and step back and step back and step back and step back. We had 21 people, netted us 104. Because each time I just said, okay, and what did I have to do before then? And it ended up that we held the event 3 months later than I wanted it. Because all of those steps took longer than I wanted them, than I originally thought it was going to be. But once I reverse engineered the steps, I said, oh, we can't get this done by this time frame. Let's do it in October instead. So you have to, when you do that reverse engineering, just be flexible in terms of what else has to come into play.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who's next? You're so brave. I can tell. Michael.
So, Miss Sandra, I would say my business very, very quickly over the last year and a half, 2 years has gone from a level 1 to a level 2. But as you're taking those steps in the level 2, it's kind of like, I've decided I'm going to be marketing at least 2 days a week. I'm going to be doing everything else the other 3 days a week. And then if I need to bleed the two together by doing what Coach April calls remove and replace, that is a great opportunity. And when you're inside of the level 2, trying to duplicate yourself, you basically alluded to the fact, you are one person, you can only do so much. I'm in mortgages, so therefore I'm in an industry where it really is me and me and me doing the role. But as far as duplicating myself, trying to, I know the thing I'm great at is networking, meeting other people, getting the leads. Having people in those support roles are going to be the biggest piece of it. What would you suggest as far as really driving from level 2 to level 3 in that type of instance where you really are the only one licensed and able to do it? What have you seen? And I mean, I'll kind of end the question open-ended like that because I'm seeing you understand.
Yeah, I'm with you. And one of my close friends is a mortgage broker. So, and what we did for his business was we looked at, okay, what were all the things that only Tim could do by law because he's licensed? And then what were all the things that only Tim could do because he just really excelled at them? And very similar to you, one of them was networking. Anybody, he could just talk to anyone and they'd become a client, when they were looking for his services. So we said, okay, here's the list of what only Tim can do. Here's all the list of things that need to be done in the business. And we hired someone to do all of those other pieces. And to start with, we started with a college intern doing a lot of the pieces for school credit. So Tim wasn't even paying them because it was for credit. So if paying someone is an issue, start with, okay, can I hire an intern? Can I hire, who can I hire that isn't going to be charging me necessarily full rate, if you will? But we literally just listed everything out that only he could do, everything out that the business had to do, and said, okay, all that's gone. It didn't happen overnight. We started with the stuff that he really didn't like. For him, bookkeeping was one of them. And before then, he was doing it. Turns out he had a friend who liked bookkeeping. Okay, she now handles that, and he didn't have to worry about it. The reports just showed up on his computer. So that's where I would be getting leverage from when you're in a field where only you can do certain pieces of it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And the other thing I would do is one of the things for Tim, he found that he was sitting there going through everything with me, his client, to get all these numbers. And we turned all of that into a workbook so that when someone started working with him, the first thing they got was the workbook. They had to fill it out all on their own, but anything they had questions about, they did together. But he would find that 85% of the information they were filling in, he wasn't needed for. So it took this 3-hour conversation down to 45 minutes. And now that's more time that he's just picked up to do other things. So think that way for leverage as well.
Thank you. Anyone else? We've got about 10 minutes left. I know you're aching to pipe in, Mr. Peter. You're muted.
I know. There we go. Sandra, thank you. Really brings some clarity to some things. And so in my business, I'm essentially providing the very things that would be in the build, the leverage, and the profitability realm for our clients. in
Okay.
that they are being trained and certified to deliver the groundbreaking services, coaching services that we train them to deliver. And they come to us sometimes as relatively new coaches, so they're definitely being level one. But they may be, executives that have recently retired and now they're starting a coaching and consulting business. They could have lots of experience on the training inside corporation, and now they've gone external. But we also have people come to us who have been very successful coaching for years, like April, and are looking for sort of how can I leverage more. But what occurs to me in my situation is that there's a real gray area between the three levels, in
Yes.
that a lot of what we give them to leverage is what they can use to build. And so I wonder if you could speak a little bit to the relationship and the somewhat circular nature of using leveraged stuff as part of what allows you to build, and beginning with the end in mind in terms of certainly efficiency and profitability, but particularly around the build and leverage. Is it always that you only build and then you build leverage, or is there more both at the same time? And what's your experience been in that regard?
It depends what you're doing. You can definitely, one of the things that I found, you can definitely do both at the same time, particularly if we start with a focus on leveraging our content and our information.
Mhm.
If we're leveraging that first, then that is definitely part of the build.
Mhm.
If what we're doing is one-on-one work and we want to go to group programs, that only works if we have an audience. So if we have a big enough email list, community, people who want to hire us.
Right.
So the leverage piece depends on what your community is like.
Mhm.
So if you have a list of 5,000 people on your email list, but only 10% are opening, so we really only have 500, well, that's going to look different than if 20% are opening.
Sure.
You're going to have a much bigger potential conversion base. So when it comes to the leverage, I leverage whenever possible, whatever the materials. So like we were talking with Jamie earlier, she's got very few clients right now where she's relocated, and we want to try and maximize things. So she can leverage her knowledge into creating ebooks, into creating templates, into creating programs that can all be delivered without her, and that can serve as a feeder into her client base. So the people that buy it and think, oh, great, I can do this. And then they're like, oh, no, I can't. Let me call Jamie. So you can definitely be doing both at the same time. You just have to think about what is it that you need most. So in Jamie's instance, I would say go for the leveraged products right now to get her to a place of attracting the right clients for her. Qualified people that have either tried it and decided they can't do it, or people who are like, no, I don't even have the time or the energy to try that. I just want to hire you and you take care of it for me.
Yeah. If I can also comment something you just said, and I think it was Stephen was also when your conversation with him touched upon it. There's a lot of people who suffer from the imposter syndrome. Like, who the heck am I to say I'm an expert on how to move to Montana, right?
Absolutely.
Well, the reality is the only difference between an expert and a novice is about a day and a half. So if you say you are by definition and you know 3 times or 3 things more than they know, then you're more of an expert at them, and they literally don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
And then you build from there. So we find that very true in our business, and in sometimes it's our best guess to start with, but we're all often pretty good at guessing good, if that makes sense.
It
and
makes
where
complete
things go,
sense.
but we test and measure, you test and measure. This is what we think works. Things are changing so often. What worked 6 months ago doesn't work today. So we're constantly evolving and doing our best and then teaching others. But people are so looking for guidance.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
People are looking for guidance and they're looking for help in the sense of what can you take off their plate.
Right.
So if you can show them, just to jump back to Stephen for a second, if Stephen can show them that he's got X number of clients that have moved out of California and, it was an easy move. They didn't show up, losing their minds. They were prepared. They went to their new house and there was cable and there was, all the things that they need. He's going to have a much easier time with people that are saying, you know what, I know I need to just get out of California and I think I want to go to Montana and that's about all I know. I don't know where to start. And he can now
Yeah.
say, that's okay because I do.
Love it.
Well, one of the things that I've gotten from this is I don't want to live in California, evidently.
Me neither. I'm not going.
With that, Miss Sandra, you always have so much fun and so much to share. Great. I do have a hard stop at 4 o'clock, so I do need to let everybody run off. Yet we have less than a couple minutes. Is there any commentary or anything else anyone else wants to share? Miss Debbie.
It's what Peter just said about the imposter. Anytime we start something new, it comes up. So
Absolutely.
I've learned over my life, every time I want to start, whether it's an ebook, a couple of things that I picked up today, even that walk, Sandra, that you told me, the imposter will come out and say something negative. So now I just say, yep, here he comes again, or she comes, or whoever, and just do it anyway. So I just wanted to dovetail on what Peter said about that. Every time we want to start something new, or even think about something new, it shows it rears its ugly head. So I just wanted to share that for everybody.
Do you know what I do? I do 2 things. The first thing I do is I just say, thank you, that's not useful.
Right.
And if that doesn't work for me, that usually works. But if it doesn't, then whatever the little, not nice voice in my head is saying, I physically take it with my hand, wherever it is in my head, I grab it and I put it on my big toe. And then I look at my big toe and it's now my big toe saying that to me. And then I just giggle because nobody can take that seriously. That's the 2 things I do whenever my little imposter kind of jumps up and starts. Bah, 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 bah.
The big toe
It's
is
just part of the deal. It's part of the deal. You know what I mean? That's how I look at business. For all the years I've been in business, it's just part of the deal.
Yep.
Well, it has been a gift to see everyone. Thank you all for joining us. We will look forward to seeing you as you're able to join us again and go implement today, something.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. It
Thank
was
you,
a pleasure to
everyone.
meet you all.
Thank you,
Bye,
April.
everyone.
Thank you, Sandra.
Thank you, Miss
Bye-bye.
Sandra.